Hey, fellow Cortanas, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Copivian, and welcome back to my top 10 favorite episodes from Season 8 of Supernatural. So, without further ado, here it is, my top 10. Number 10, Pac-Man Fever. Dean has to go inside of a video game in order to save Charlie. Just so happens that it's Charlie's favorite video game, and it's pretty bloody on the inside. Zombies abound in this episode, at least video game style, but nonetheless, it doesn't hinder the fact that this is a do-or-die moment for both Dean and Charlie, and it's always great when Supernatural would key on a different character rather than just always be on Sam and Dean for the entirety of the episodes, to focus in on Charlie and to make her basically a hunter in training as well. A fascinating episode. Enough said. Number 9, As Time Goes By. Here we go. Another piece of the Winchester family. Henry, this time, the other grandfather of Sam and Dean, on John's side of the family, comes into the story and bursts into Sam and Dean's lives through their hotel closet. This show was great. I tell you what, it was an amazing show. But we also get the introduction of a very destructive and a very dangerous demon, Abaddon. She left such a mark on this show, it's almost sad that she didn't get a more exclusive role in a season. But she did push a lot forward for not just Sam and Dean, but every character within this story of Supernatural. This episode, to see how Sam and Dean and Henry come to know each other and that their legacies, and he's still a man of letters at this point in time, and it's always interesting to know that how it ties back to John's childhood when he didn't grow up without his father in his life anymore, even though he had been there for quite a few years. All of a sudden, he's no longer there. Well, that's because he fast forward his life and would unfortunately meet his end when he would come across Sam and Dean. Not solely because of Sam and Dean, though. Always fun to get more of the Winchester family and blood lineage into the story. Such an important piece of the puzzle. Number 8, Man's Best Friend with Benefits. Well, we finally have reached the point where witches can now introduce their familiars. Always was a very stern piece of witchcraft lore, so why it took him this long to finally get familiars into the fold, that I kind of questioned. But this episode was really, really fun and interesting just because of the fact that Sam and Dean literally have to work with this familiar, and the fact that it's a situation where you have to be on rocky terms when it comes to these situations with Sam and Dean and teaming up with something that could eventually become something that wants to kill them. But at the same point, it's such a cool mix when they have to decide how are they going to work this, and the fact that we kind of get an astral projection to a degree to fly into the police headquarters to figure out who's going to be where. Such a awesome episode. Number 7, Trial and Error. Kevin has deciphered the tablet and has figured out the first trial. You have to kill a hellhound if you want to be able to close the gates of hell. The push of this episode is one thing. Are we going to get to see a hellhound as a fan? yes, we get to see it. And it is an interesting little look on the other side, on the flip side of things for once, because this episode, while it takes place around a very interesting kind of storyline, at the same time, it's so well done that you almost have to put it on repeat just for the sole fact of you're gonna get to see that hellhound once again and really get a visual of what it looks like within the show's lore. When we finally get to see the mangy mutt, it really is like the greatest payoff in an episode, because it's kind of I think it's one of the biggest things about the episode that's the driving force is they gotta be able to see the thing in order to soak in its blood, essentially. At first, Dean is the one that wants to take up the trials, but in the end, it's Sam who gets it after he stabs the hellhound and slices its belly open. That visual of the hellhound being seen for the first time and an invisible dog's blood being coated all over Sam, and the ritual and the fact that you don't know what is happening to Sam as it's happening. It looks like it's taking a piece of him, but you don't know how big of a piece until the season finale of this season. And it's just such an awesome episode, and definitely one worth going back to watch again and again. Number 6, LARP and the Real Girl. Charlie is back again. Of course, this is before Pac-Man Fever occurs, but nonetheless, this episode was so much fun for the fact that Dean and Sam get thrown into LARPing. Literal LARPing. And they look around like, what in the hell is going on here? What is this? Not the first time we've seen them in a LARPing situation, but it is the first time that we get to see Sam and Dean in a LARPing situation with another hunter, more or less. She's not full hunter yet, but she's getting closer and closer. She's seen the door, now she has to walk through it. Charlie is such a great character and a great episode to feature her in, because it just makes so much sense for her to be there and be there when the brothers get there. The fact that Charlie kind of develops a relationship, more or less. Everything makes for a very amazing episode, and it's really like, especially the bloopers of this particular episode, with Sam and Dean being in the garb and everything, the medieval garb, and it Number 5, Taxi Driver. Sam is working on the second trial. To do that, he must rescue a soul from hell, an innocent soul from hell. To do that, you have to get some help from a Reaper. They do that. Now you have to get into hell. And, of course, once Sam gets into hell, he has to find that one innocent soul that doesn't actually belong in hell. Well, that innocent soul that doesn't belong in hell turns out to be, of course, none other than Bobby Singer. Great to see Bobby back in Supernatural after it being, honestly, a long time from the previous time that we had seen him. But this episode, again, it keys on an emotional side for both Sam and Dean and for the fans, because you see Bobby and you want him back full time. But obviously that's not the case, and that's not the driving force of this episode. The driving force of this episode is to get Sam through the second trial in order to be able to try and close Hell's door and gates forever. But unfortunately, to do that, they have to say goodbye to a friend, a beloved friend, and father figure as well. Since Benny does pop up one last time and helps Sam get through purgatory to get back to Earth. Number 4, Remember the Titans. A man keeps dying over and over, but keeps coming back over and over. Is he a zombie? Is he a ghoul? Is he a demon? No, he's Prometheus. To see Prometheus and also to see Zeus, who had been absent for quite a few episodes where it felt like Zeus could have been needed or a part of certain storylines. He finally comes in and it turns out he's a dick. Who would have guessed? It's so cool to see how it throws Sam and Dean completely off guard that they are in the presence of Prometheus, pretty much the son of Zeus, and that eventually they're going to have to go face to face with Zeus. And the way that everything gets tied up in the end as well, Zeus being off and getting ganked, which, again, I think it could have been extended a little bit longer for its own storyline in the season, but hey, I'll take it for one episode because it was a tremendously fun episode. Number 3, Bitten. This episode was memorable once again for the fact that it doesn't take the usual production point of view, the audience point of view to tell the story. It's told in a very first-person way, mixing the audience point of view camera, the third-person camera, to tell the story in full. And I love this episode mainly because it's, one, it brings back werewolves, and 2, it tells a story about how it affects somebody when they are turning into a werewolf and that they don't know about it. They don't know how bad it or what is happening to them. And it just goes from bad to absolute the worst day of your life. I mean, it is not something that you'd want to have happen to you if you were in this show's storylines. But again, in saying that, it's so cool to see how the transformation happens because it shows you first person, the claws, the teeth, everything. It shows you more in depth than any episode had previously dealing with werewolves. And the fact that the last survivor standing out of the group of 3 college students that are in Sam and Dean's crosshairs at the time ends up walking off and trying to live her life and trying to live it without killing anybody. Number 2, everybody hates Hitler. Oh boy, I know I do agree with that episode's title. Most definitely. But this episode was awesome just because of the pure fact that it brings in a golem and a very interesting style of golem. Dude is massive, man. I mean, you want to talk about a mountain of a man, this dude was it in this show. A lot of it was prosthetics, but a lot of it was just him. We've seen him in other TV shows and movies before Supernatural and kind of after Supernatural as well, and I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head right now. This was such an interesting introduction to this kind of storyline within Supernatural, and to see how the golem gets chopped but doesn't get chopped. And the effect of that is so crazy and unique to the show of Supernatural that you couldn't have seen it anywhere else but this show. The first time that, of course, Sam and Dean come across it, you see Dean flying back, hitting a dumpster, and Sam wondering, what the hell is this giant? I'm supposed to be the only giant in this. I'm the moose. That's no moose. That's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Number 1, Sacrifice. Awesome season finale to season 8. An even better season finale than what happened in season 7, primarily because of the ending of this episode. Metatron, of course, I know a lot of Supernatural fans don't like that character for various different reasons, but Metatron has twisted Cass and told him lie after lie. Now Metatron can start to work his plan to perfection. What will happen? Will the demons be locked back in hell forever? Or will it be the B-side? It's the B-side. When the angels fall from heaven and just to see all of these comets and everything else falling from the sky, such a memorable visual. Just brings you to full circle to a feeling that no other show can give you. It's a great feeling of amazement, astonishment, and holy crap, this is epic. Season 8 would end on one of the best possible notes for that season, but Season 9 would bring in a lot of tough questions for not only Sam and Dean and Castiel, but also Charlie, Crowley, Lucifer, and Metatron. So, I'm going to end it right here. I thank you everybody so much for watching. Always remember to imagine your dream, create your happiness, and live your life on the edge, and I will see you in that next episode. See ya.